is something we need. It's a leap of faith. Oh, if you have the will and the moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there.
St Ives may be famous for its traditional riddle. As I am going to St Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Every wife had 7 sacks. Every sack had 7 cats. Every cat had 7 kits. Kits, cats, sacks, wives. How many were going to St Ives? The riddle paints a rural image of walking to St Ives, and given it was written in the 19th century, the roads to and from St Ives were probably little more than a dirt track. However, in 1877, the archetypal Cornish fishing village of St Ives was linked to the mainline railway and was never the same again. The 4.5 miles of track that wound its way from St Erth along the estuary of the River Hale and then above St Ives Bay was intended to make markets more accessible to the local fishing industry. It also opened up the town to the fast developing tourism of the late 19th century. Fishing declined, but by 1940s and the 1950s, the branch line was carrying tens of thousands of holidaymakers to St Ives and was enjoyed by huge numbers of local people. Today the line carries crowds of day visitors and its scenic qualities are still unspoilt. The coastal footpath also traverses the beautiful surroundings through which the line passes. You can travel either way between station halts and return on foot through magnificent scenery. St Ives probably originated as a small fishing community as far back as prehistory. It prospered greatly from the medieval period, and the pilchard fishing that became its mainstay helped to create the distinctive area known as Downlong, whose cobbled streets weave around the town's harbour. St Ives is now one of Europe's most famous resorts, and has the distinction of being an internationally acclaimed centre of art. The town's numerous art galleries, headed by the prestigious Tate Gallery St Ives, enhance that reputation. The origin of St Ives is attributed in legend to the arrival of the Irish saint Ives of Cornwall in the 5th century. The parish church bears her name, and the name St Ives derives from it. The Sloop Inn, which lies on the wharf, was a fisherman's pub for many centuries and is dated circa 1312, making it one of the oldest inns in Cornwall. The town was the site of a particularly notable atrocity during the Prayer Book Rebellion of 1549. The English Provost Marshal Anthony Kingston came to St Ives and invited the portreeve John Payne to lunch at an inn. He asked the portreeve to have the gallows erected during the course of the lunch. Afterwards, the portreeve and the Provost Marshal walked down to the gallows. The Provost Marshal then ordered the portreeve to mount the gallows. The portreeve was then hung for being a busy rebel. During the Spanish Armada of 1597, 2 Spanish ships, a bark and a pinnacle, had made their way to St Ives to seek shelter from the storm which had dispersed the Spanish fleet. They were captured by the English warship, Warspite of Sir Walter Raleigh, leaking from the same storm. The information given by the prisoners was vital on learning the Armada's objectives.